So welcome everyone to the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So today is the day when people from around the world honor Mary, the mother of Jesus, as Our Lady of Guadalupe, who our ancestors say appeared to an Aztec man, Juan Diego, in 1531. Mary came to Juan Diego at a time when his culture was being destroyed and his people oppressed by people who called themselves Christians, the believers in the one true God. And Mary appeared to him dressed as an Aztec woman with her bare brown feet upon the earth. And she came to him as he was walking to Mass. And she came to him upon the hill that the Aztecs worshipped, the goddess of the pregnant virgin by the name of Tenochtitlan. She spoke to him in his native language, and she said, "You must know and be very certain in your heart, Juan Diego, that I am the mother of all. Those who cry to me, those who don't, those who know me, and those who don't. I will alleviate their suffering. I desire to have a sanctuary built for all people on this sacred hill." In all her appearances throughout many, many generations, Mary has appeared to children, but this was the first time she appeared to an indigenous man at a time when his culture was being torn apart. In all her appearances, Mary expresses love for all humanity, compassion, and a call to human unity. So today, we come together and we hold in our hearts our gratitude for Mary in all her forms. Our first presenters today come to us from Key West. Please join me in welcoming Christine and Larry Smith.
Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day, and man shall live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary, boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Hark now, hear the angels sing, the King was born today, and man shall live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. While shepherds watch their flocks by night, the sun new brightening star, they hear a choir sing a song, the music seems to come from afar. Hark now, hear the angels sing, a king was born today, and man shall live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Mary's child boy, Jesus Christ, was born on the bells rang out, there was tears of joy and laughter. People shouted, let everyone know there is soon to all have a peace. Now Joseph and his wife Mary, they went to Bethlehem that night. They found no place to bear the child, not a single pin was in sight. Hark the herald angels sing, a king was born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Hark thou, hear the angels sing, a king was born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. I don't know. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Ave, Ave Dominus,
That was magnificent. Thank you for raising all of us to the vibration of love. I know that if everyone was unmuted, it would be a resounding applause. So just look at the faces and the hands and the love and know that, wow, that really raised us up. When the bishop did not believe, a mere peasant, that Mary, the mother of Jesus, had spoken to him, he asked for a sign. When Mary asked Juan Diego to give this message to the bishop does not believe that this is really Mary. And so the bishop asks for a sign. And Mary gives Juan Diego roses, the most beautiful and fragrant Castilian roses in the middle of winter. Roses are symbolic of love and courage. Rose is the past tense of rise. And red roses especially encourage us to rise in love. Some say that the word Mary itself is derived from the Egyptian mar, which means to love, combined with the Hebrew Yah, which is the root of Yahweh, means the source of love for all. We honor Mary as the mother of love today, who loves humanity, who is the great parent of us all, who cares about those who cry out for her and those who don't. She's the mama bear for all humans. And so we are grateful to be in this moment of love and to welcome our next musically talented presenter, Gabriel Wright.
I heard there was a sacred chord David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew a hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe I've been here before. I know this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. Well, I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march, it's a cold and it's a broken heart. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, there was a time when you let me know what's really going on below. And now you never show it to me, do ya? Well, remember when I moved in you, the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah. 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 Maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love is how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. Well, it's not a cry you can hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Thank you, Gabe, for bringing us deeper and deeper into our own hearts. And I know if you see the faces here, you'll see the impact that your passionate, amazing voice has on all of us. Thank you so much. So let's take it in, take this beautiful, beautiful resonance of love and this amazing depth into our own hearts. Martyn, can share Eileen with us. It'd be so wonderful.
Okay, this is Eileen's guidance for the 12th of December. When you realise the hours of practice a good pianist has to put in each day before performing a superb concert, you'll begin to understand why you have to keep ever on the alert to be able to live the spiritual life the way it should be lived. It does not mean you have to strain, but it does mean you have to be constantly on the alert and aware of what is happening, especially at first. Like the pianist practicing for perfection, having to go over and over a certain difficult piece before reaching a feeling of satisfaction. So do you have to go over and over the same ground, learning the lessons until they have become so much a part of you that you cannot separate yourself from them. For they are ingrained. Remember, no one else can live this life for you. No one else can do your practice for you. Only you can do it. So why not start doing it right now? And as our dear friend Barbara would have, can you read the last paragraph again, Martyn? I certainly can.
Thank you, Martyn.
Like the pianist practicing for perfection, having to go over and over a certainly difficult piece before reaching before feeling of satisfaction. So do you have to go over and over the same ground, learn the same lessons until they have become so much part of you that you cannot separate yourself from them, for they're ingrained in you. Remember, No one else can live this life for you. No one else can do your practicing for you. Only you can do it. So why not start right now? Thank you, Eileen. And thank you to all my friends around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Martyn. And for those of you who may not know, Eileen is Eileen Cady from the Findhorn Foundation, one of the 3 founders of the Findhorn Foundation. And her guidance is in a book that has been inspiring for over 25 years, many of us. Thank you for sharing that. And now we have a special song from Kathy Kennedy from the Scottish Borders.
Hello, gorgeous people. Well, of course, I don't have a Scottish accent because I'm originally from New York. But I've lived here for many, many years now. And first, Judy, I've got to tell you that your story of Our Lady of Guadalupe resonates so strongly to the story I'm going to tell you in a few minutes about Our Lady of Hopefulness, Nostra Senora de la Esperanza. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, I would like to read, and this just so happened to come my way a few minutes ago as I opened this wonderful book, Finding Love Everywhere, by Robert Holden, our darling Robert, who's very, very special. And the book just opened to this, so it just had to happen, because this is what happens on Judy's sharings. It's always wonderful. It's called Divine Feminine, and it goes like this. I have been pregnant ever since the beginning. My body is Mary. I will be pregnant for all my days on earth. My mind is Joseph. I am birthing holiness for Aquarius. My soul is a child of God. The Christ is alive in me. I just love it. May I read it again? Because it's short. Divine Feminine. That's what today's all about, I think. I have been pregnant ever since the beginning. My body is Mary. I will be pregnant for all my days on earth. My mind is Joseph. I am birthing holiness for Aquarius. My soul is a child of God. The Christ is alive in me. And I remember one of your sessions, lovely Judy, when we were discussing the fact that we are the house of God, each of us. And I have been carrying that thought with me ever since. It is one of the most powerful, healing, and beautiful thoughts that we're all carrying the divine within us. Anyway, I'm feeling it tonight because Judy, we're connecting so much with the story I'm going to tell you about my own experience. Because it's been many years since I traveled to the island of Mallorca, which is a Balearic island off of Spain, and visited the beautiful village of Capdepera. Now, it's such a beautiful name, Capdepera. I had to see it. I had to go to see it for myself, because the name itself is musical and beautiful and poetic. But I had a beautiful experience there. It took about 150 steps up the side of a mountain to reach the 14th century chapel of Our Lady of Hopefulness, where inside the church I recall a statue of Capdepera's patron saint, who happened to be Nuestra Senora de la Esperanza, Our Lady of Hopefulness. And legend says Our Lady of Hopefulness saved the population from a pirate attack by sending down a mysterious fog to protect the town from invasion. So she was the protector. And what I remember, and this is where I'm connecting with you, Judy, I'm just thinking, oh my goodness. What I remember was the statue itself. It was crudely carved, but beautiful. And what was special about it is that she was expecting the child. And you know how we often see statues of Mary holding the child? Well, she's expecting the child. And you know, it's all about hope, isn't it? Anyone that has carried a child, no matter what, even if it's a spirit child, will know that wonderful feeling of hopefulness and expectation of what's to come. And there's a line in the song that I wrote about this experience, because I found just being there with that statue and what she symbolized brought healing to me during a time where I really, really, truly needed it. I needed it in so many ways, and I felt it was the start of a process, a long road. And there's a line in it in my song, which is in Spanish, it's Serás Camino de mi verdad, which means you showed me the right road. So the song is called Cap de Pera, and it's about Our Lady of Hopefulness. Mia Señora de la Esperanza, I used to listen to this heart of mine. A voice was calling, your candles burning. But I lost the will to see you shine. The walls that kept you from my vision. How steep the journey, how hard the fall. So when I travel so far from you, my heart grew silent to your call. When I return to Cap de Pera, I'll bring you roses in my hand. For in my song, mi compañera, serás camino de mi verdad. Those little children who call you madre, they bring you flowers from the field, but I have nothing but an old heart mended. It's taken me so long to heal. When I return to Cap de Pera, I'll bring you roses, I'll drink your wine. When I return, mi compañera, I will be there to see you shine. When I return, I will be there to see you shine. Happy Mary Day. Thank you, Judy, so much, and thank you, everyone.
Oh my, Kathy, wow. You always seem to have the perfect sharing. Oh my goodness, that poem and song were just such a weaving of the tapestry of everything that's gone before. And I have a feeling that Alexis also has this sweet little story that is the little icing on the cake.
Thank you. Yes, I was inspired by this read it in our newspaper the other day on Saturdays. It always has a spiritual section, and it says here that the writer of this little story is unknown, and it fits in with our theme today. It goes to say, a barefoot boy of about 10 years of age, shivering from cold in the winter, was standing before a store window, looking in very intently. And a lady came along and she approached the boy and she said, "Child, why are you looking so intently in that window?" And he says, "I am asking God to give me a pair of shoes." The lady took him by the hand and took him into the shoe store. The woman asked the clerk, "Would you bring me some socks and some shoes for this young boy? And also, could you bring me a pan of warm water, some soap, and a towel?" So she took the boy by the hand to the back of the store and she removed his shoes. Wait a minute, I'm not reading this right. He didn't have any shoes on. He didn't have any socks on. Remember that. She took the boy to the back of the store. She removed her gloves and proceeded to wash his feet with soap and water and dry his little feet. And by then the clerk came along with some shoes and socks. And they tried on socks and they tried on a lot of shoes. And finally they found some shoes that fit him perfectly. She took the rest of the socks and put them in a bundle. And she said, "Here, young man, now your feet should be very comfortable and warm." She paid for the shoes and socks, and then affectionately she patted the boy's head and started to turn away. As she turned to go, the boy, with tears in his eyes, caught her by the hand and looked up into her eyes and said, "Are you God's wife?" It just hit me right there. It was just so emotional to think about the young man thinking about God had answered his prayer and sent his wife. So beautiful a story. It was very inspiring to me. As a matter of fact, my eyes are glazing over as usual. I get too emotional about these things. So thank you for letting me share this story with you.
Thank you. And, to bring it together for us, in a sense, we're all Mary, right? The pregnant virgin with the Christ within. And we're all God's wife, mother, sister, brother, instrument of God, the hands and feet of the divine. And one of the moments when I was a therapist of a child who had lost his dad very young, and we would oftentimes look at pictures of his family so he would remember the times when his father was alive. And he pointed to a picture of his mother before he was born at a baby shower. And he said, "That's us. That's my mom and I at our baby shower." And she was very pregnant, like any minute, and I've always thought that was so adorable, that he could see that he was in there, just like the pregnant Mary is the Christ. They're there together. Now, next, we have some sharing and music from Daniel Nahmod. Welcome, Daniel.
You know what? It's very nice to be here with you all, and I've enjoyed what I've been listening to, and you know what I've been. I'm remembering a moment that was one of the most special little/big moments I ever had in my life. I'm thinking about a mother's love. I've sometimes said that if there is a God, then God must love us the way a mother loves her newborn baby, I mean, things get complicated pretty quickly after a baby's born. Uh, sometimes, sometimes the relationships are rocky. Sometimes there's health challenges. Um, sometimes there's medical issues. Uh, sometimes there's adoption. In other words, sometimes those first few minutes that a woman has with her baby are the only few minutes she'll ever have. But when I think about how much a person could be adored, I think of a woman holding the baby she has just given birth to. And I think that's pretty much the absolute definition to me of love. And I witnessed it firsthand. This is what I was thinking about as I was listening to the readings and the songs and so on. I witnessed it firsthand on the night my son was born. Melina had a what do you call it, a cesarean after hours of labor. They decided to do a C-section, and as you know or could imagine, there's a fair amount of medication involved in a C-section. You know, it's surgery, so there's pain relief and kind of pretty heavy sedation. So I'm there with my wife, and she is giving birth to Jude, who's now 11, but she's giving birth to Jude, and she is conscious, but not by much, which actually I would say was one of the major losses and sadnesses of the C-section, rather than non-surgical kind of ordinary birth, because she wasn't quite in her mind. She was sedated. She wasn't out, but she was close. But the moment that I witnessed was after this little monkey was handed to me with, speaking of thick heads of hair, that kid was born with a mop on his head. And I immediately knew that he was more than 50% Melina's side of the family. And so I held our little baby for a little while, and then Melina was laying on on a bed, like I say, sedated and not quite unconscious, but mostly. And I laid her baby on her chest as she laid there, face down like this, belly down to mommy. And Melina, I mean, she couldn't have told you what day it was, I don't think, or what time it was, or where she was. But her hand came up, and I could cry just thinking about it. Her hand came up, and the little baby laid there, and she did this to the baby. And that was all she could do, I think. All the energy she had, but it was enough. Just even the tiniest amount of consciousness was enough for her to know to love and care for that baby. And I'll never forget the little gentle stroking. For minutes, she just laid there with our newborn boy and just loved him. And it was just so beautiful, and like I say, unconscious in a way. It's like sometimes you see a little kid do something just especially kind or beautiful, and they're not doing it to be seen. They're not doing it to act a certain way. They just are that way. And that was a glimpse of that mother's love that I've always sort of defined, like I say, as kind of a God's love. And I am not raised Catholic or Christian. I wasn't raised with the name Mary anywhere in the family. I wasn't raised with Spanish-speaking friends, really. So all of that is outside my experience. But when I think about and when I've read about in the last few days, what the story and what the iconography is and what the faith is, it just makes me feel. And then you've all reinforced that for me, and as I've listened, reinforced for me that there's a feeling. I always quote George Carlin's joke, the comedian, that we spend the first 9 months of our life trying to get out of the womb and the rest of our lives trying to get back in. And it's really it's no surprise, and not only does it make sense, but it's actually what Dr. Danny would prescribe, would be to hold in reverence the mother of mothers, to hold in your mind that idea of God as so adoring and loving that it would raise a hand to comfort you when it could do nothing else. That was the one and only thing it was there to do, was to love and comfort and keep safe. So that's as far as I can go from personal experience with this holiday and with this tradition. But it does, of course, inspire a couple of pieces of music that I thought I'd share with you. The first is a little song that I wrote to sing with kids. This is about 16, 17 years ago now, when I used to sing. There was a kind of a retreat where I was the music guy with the kids for 5 days or so. I'd work with them and I would write them a song. I did this for several years. I'd write them a song and teach it to them, and then at the end of the week, the kids and I would perform it for 800-900 people in a very big, nice big spacious hall. And this song stuck with me, and I actually had even a more impactful moment than that, and that was pretty special. But maybe a year after that, I volunteered to sing at the Shriners Hospital in Los Angeles for kids there. And if you're not familiar with Shriners Hospital, it is a free hospital and treats children with burns. And I had never been in such a place, and I had never been burned, met a child who had been burned. I just went to sing, as I always do. I sing for the whole person inside, rather than singing or seeing the symptoms, if that makes sense. So I just went to sing. When I arrived, I discovered that all 15 or 20 kids who had been gathered to hear music were from Mexico and spoke essentially no English. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but when I was in Spain, I learned very quickly that I do not speak Spanish. I thought I did, and then I tried, and it was not good. So I sang this little song for them that day, and one of the little boys, and these kids had been through a lot, and they were as beautiful as any people I'd ever met in my life, and they were badly injured, and they were sweet as candy, and they were just precious, precious little kids. And we communicated as best we could, and had a lovely visit, right? When I sang this little song in English, one of the little boys translated it into Spanish for me. And I sang it for them that day, and they sang it with me, and I've been singing this little song in English and Spanish ever since, but not very often. I mean, I think maybe twice or three times in a decade, so in the past decade. So this is a little song that I wrote for a group of kids at a camp, and then sang for a precious group of kids at Shriners Hospital in Los Angeles. Here we go. I am a miracle, God's child. I am a miracle, God's child. I have perfect love in my heart. I am a miracle, God's child. Sing it with me? Here we go. I am a miracle, God's child. Sing it again. I am a miracle, God's child. I have perfect love. I have perfect love in my heart. In my heart, I am a miracle, God. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. Tengo perfecto amor en mi corazón. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. You want to try it in Spanish? Soy un milagro. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. Or hija if you're female. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. Tengo perfecto amor. Tengo perfecto amor en mi corazón. En mi corazón. Soy un milagro, un hijo de Dios. We are a miracle, God's child. We are a miracle, God's child. We have perfect love in our hearts. We are a miracle, God's child. God's child. God's child. And you know, I thought I'd sing one more if I have. Do I have a few more minutes, Judy, for one more song? Okay.
Yes,
Um,
definitely. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. Thanks for singing with me. You can imagine that once I was listening to these babies, you know, some of them were burned on their faces, fingers missing, ears missing. As I'm listening to them sing, I am a miracle, God's child. You can imagine that was a pretty emotional thing for me to hear them sing, because that is absolutely what they are and were. I couldn't help but be aware that they may or may not be seen that way by others, and that I couldn't save them from the lives they were living and the lives they were going to live, but all I could do was see them as whole and beautiful, and as God's children, as loved as that little baby minutes after being born. That was I kind of consciously decided that was my job, and it was very, very special to hear them sing that with me. I wouldn't presume that it made a difference or what difference it made, but it certainly made an impression on me, and that was a long time ago. It was probably 2005 or 6 when I visited that hospital. So this other song came to mind, and I don't know. Maybe you'll feel like it's related to this the mother feeling and the home feeling. It's a new song from the new album, and it came to mind today. So here we go. Years wandering the world, where in the world, what was I doing here? All of these years, searching in vain, cursing the rain, chasing the runaway train of my mind. It never went quietly, but this time I feel myself silently praising the day I found my way home, home to a place where I've always belonged, all the way from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home. How can I repay? How to convey how good it feels to be here in your arms, suddenly safe, totally loved in a way that's been healing my heart. You are a miracle in my life. I've never been so grateful as the day I found my way home, home to a place where I've always belonged, all the way from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home. Since the day I found my way home, where I've always belonged, all the way from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home, as the day I found my way home. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel, for such a powerful, wordless space of love and gratitude.